you very much for joining this call. Rafael, actually, let me also explain you a little bit of a historical data. As you must be knowing that I'm managing the data centers for almost 18 years now, Tech Mahindra data centers. And it has been the case that most of the applications we are hosting in our data centers are ERP applications. Okay. And out of this ERP applications, we have been hosting SAP as a #1 application. And then we also hosting Oracle ERP. Third, we are hosting Mapix. We also hosted PeopleSoft, and we are also hosting LX and Infor. Okay. Mapix, LX, and Infor are old ERP applications. We still host them and manage those applications for one of the customer in manufacturing industry on AS400 platform.
So these are all dedicated, correct, Vikram? We're doing the hosting of their environments on their behalf.
Correct. Infrastructure is not dedicated. Infrastructure is shared, multi-tenancy.
I see. Okay.
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 So these are the flavors what we have deployed for our customers. And when it comes to the SAP platform, we have deployed on multiple compute systems. One is x86 and P series, and when it comes to the PeopleSoft, again, the variances are x86 and P series. And when it comes to Mapix and so on and so forth, those things are on AS400 platforms. All right. So let us talk now. This discussion is I would like to let you know the ERP applications what we are deploying. Every ERP application requires a different kind of a subsystems in place in your data center to ensure that you meet those critical performance indicators defined by that ERP application. Okay. Unless you don't meet those critical performance indicators, they will not commit the performance of the application. So that is the key to the whole solutioning what we actually work on, right? From the ERP standpoint, from the infrastructure standpoint. So being said that, when it comes to the SAP as the ERP, which is topmost application in the world, and most of the companies are using in today's context, and the percentage of their share is very high. SAP has been going, as a product, has been going through a lot of transformations as a product, application product. The company itself is going through a lot of transformations to make sure that, they also meet the market conditions and industry conditions. So now, all the applications, all the companies are going to the digital IT, or they're transforming their IT digital. SAP is also over the time has come out to be a product which is aligned and architected to meet those digital objectives. Okay. So when it comes to the digital objectives of an organization, it has to meet several aspects of it. One is, it has to have all the application elements aligned to the digital process of that company, #1. And #2, it also should have the interfacing to different types of end user computing devices, mobility, Internet of Things, laptops, and applications, and so on and so forth. So it should have the different types of interfacing. Third, it should also have a database which is a large in scale, and it should be analytical, and it also should have an artificial intelligence built into that product. So these are the features which are actually built into SAP S4HANA product to make sure that the product itself meets the digital objectives of that organization. That is #1 criteria why they are releasing this SAP S4HANA. Okay. And what they are also saying is by 2025, all SAP systems are going to be phased out. They will not support anymore. And they are also making sure that SAP all the SAP systems which are used by traditional systems needs to be transitioned to the SAP S4HANA. Okay, that is another criteria which this product company is basically talking about. Okay, that comes from the perspective of software standpoint, how the software is transforming. Okay. That being said, okay, if you have to put that aside for a moment, okay, second thing what I also would like to tell you is there are two types of opportunities you will be looking at the marketplace. Okay, opportunity number one is all the SAP deployments are trying to transform into S4HANA. Okay, that is opportunity number one. Okay, opportunity number two is because many of the companies who are using other products for their digital enterprise, they might get attracted to S4HANA and they will say that I would like to go for S4HANA. So there is greenfield deployment, which they will be actually getting onto, right? So these are the two types of opportunities what the product is looking at. Okay. And second is when it comes to Tech Mahindra, right, there are two ways of looking at the opportunity. One is the SAP team front-ending the opportunity and IMS team is trailing that opportunity, okay, because SAP team is front-ending that. Second is IMS team is front-ending, SAP team is trailing, or otherwise some other company is trying to deploy the SAP for that company, but we are front-ending from the infrastructure standpoint. So our SAP practice is not in place. So this is the second type of opportunity. Third type of opportunity is that we are front-ending and customer himself is transitioning. They don't want anybody else. They don't want any partner to deploy. So these are the three segments of the opportunities which from the TechM standpoint, we have to align ourselves, right? Now, after speaking these three market potentials from the product standpoint, how the product is looking at the opportunities. Second, how the TechM sales team, IMS sales team has to look at the opportunities. Okay, that is second thing I have mentioned here. And the third, I also spoke about how the product is getting transformed from SAP to SAP HANA to S4HANA now, right? That is why, what is the reasons why they are transforming this product architecture itself completely, okay? So there is no easy tool in today's context to transition from SAP ECC to SAP S4HANA because complete architecture is changed. You just can't put a tool and just it will transition and you get along with S4HANA because traditional IT infrastructure does not meet the digital infrastructure objectives. So they have changed the architecture of S4HANA completely. Even if you have to look at database to database comparison, in the old environments of SAP, you can tag any database to it. You can tag Oracle database, you can tag Sybase database, you can tag SQL database, you can tag DB2 database. But in S4HANA, you cannot tag all those databases. You can only have the S4HANA database, that's all. Okay. And in the old database system, SAP system, you used to have rows. Here you have columns. So there is a day and night difference, even in the technical standpoint. That's the reason why you have to go through a very long haul of transitioning the application from SAP to SAP HANA. So there is a huge amount of opportunity available in this transition management also from the application standpoint. Okay. Now comes, how are we going to design the infrastructure for this application? Okay, from the perspective of infrastructure IMS standpoint.
Okay, Vikram.
Yeah, go ahead.
Vikram, really quick, are you also using the deck, or because the slides have not changed?
Not using the deck yet. I'm not using the deck yet.
Okay, understood.
Still in the introduction phase.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. That's fine.
Yeah. Wherever you have questions, stop me and ask the question. Okay. So now comes how are we going to design a highly flexible option-based solution from the IMS standpoint to ensure that we meet the market requirements in North America. That was the biggest question I had, which I have come across, and I have designed the solution to meet those objectives. So in today's context, when it comes to the infrastructure as a service, on which this application is going to sit, right, and for which we are responsible for, okay, this infrastructure as a service, when it look at the market trends, every customer is going through a transition phase. Every customer is going through a transformational phase. Some customers are having their own data centers. They still would like to live with their own data centers because of security and compliance requirements. Then you have second type of customers who would like to keep minimum applications in their data center and outsource certain amount of applications to the cloud and make it a hybrid cloud. That is second type of customers we are looking at. And then third type of customers we are looking at is they want to go 100% public. They don't want to keep anything inside their data center, right? So these are the state of mind of customers what we are looking at in the marketplace based on the industry, based on their security requirements, based on the compliance requirements, and also based on their IP requirements. Okay. So from
hey,
that
Vikram, really quick here, probably a stupid question, but on the cloud side of things for S4HANA, is there a particular cloud platform there, or is it agnostic?
Some of the cloud platforms are signed off by SAP. One is Azure, second one is Amazon, and these are the certified cloud platforms which you can install.
Okay, so it's not in SoftLayer or Google or Oracle. I mean, I thought it would be in the Oracles. Huh?
SoftLayer is also there.
And Oracle probably also, right? Because it's
actually Oracle. Normally, SAP. Nobody will like to install on the Oracle cloud because of the reason that both are competing with each other. So you might see very rarely that SAP is installed on Oracle.
Okay, got it. Okay.
All right. And I also heard that SAP has actually attended Google recently, but they are not certified. They're not so inclined to these clouds normally. But I will talk about that. Their mindset is not cloudy mindset most of the time, but because of the reason that customers are most of the time customers say that their mindset is towards the cloud, so they say, okay, we will certify these clouds, and they certified these clouds, right? But from the perspective of IMS standpoint, we are coming out to be a options-based platform to ensure that infrastructure service platform to ensure that we meet the customer objectives as we go forward. So we are very flexible from that standpoint. Okay. So I'll move to the second slide where we spoke about completely from the business objective standpoint. I have also told a little bit about it, that when you really look at every company is trying to transform themselves to digital, so that is one of the reasons why they have to transform to SAP, or they will buy SAP. Obviously, digital enterprises will grow. That is second point. Third is this particular, if you deploy SAP as a HANA in your company, this particular software will be a single solution for all the requirements of digital enterprise. You don't have to go with multiple solutions in your company, multiple applications, and every application is designed for each of the digital initiatives. That is not going to be the case. This particular application is going to meet all the digital objectives of your company. That's what they are positioning themselves. And fourth is, to also unite the company's digital process, and fifth is, it will remove all the SAPs. In the past, there used to be 10 SAP systems, one SAP system for HR, one SAP system for finance, one SAP system for ledger management, and so on and so forth. Different modules used to be there. Now, SAP for HANA is going to be a single application, which is going to be actually used for all the digital initiatives of that company. Okay. Third is they also came up with a lot of performance metrics for S4HANA performance metrics compared to the SAP systems, old SAP systems. So what they say is they have 25% improved order fulfillment in the SAP HANA system when you use it. They have 20% increased customer satisfaction. They have 20% reduced manufacturing error. Okay. 15% reduced the procurement cost, faster than ever response to the market fluctuations, because as your market fluctuates, one second. As your market fluctuates, it will also changes to those fluctuations. So a lot of flexibility and streamline your supply chain. Okay. You can access anytime, anywhere. Okay, 10% improve from manufacturing cycle, 35% reduction capital requirements, 10% reduction on plant downtime. So these are the different metrics they have given to transform to the SAP for HANA. Okay. Now the third, third slide. This slide talks about partnership model what we have with SAP. We have very strong partnership, very mature partnership we have. I think you can look at the metrics of the partnership and types of the partnership. You can speak about this. This slide talks for itself. I don't have to speak a lot about it. Okay, I'll move to slide number 4. So here I would like to
Vikram,
position.
I think you have a slide. I think you have a small sub-slide or window that's open on the top right, and it's blocking the screen.
This is a recording problem, This is a recording.
Yeah, all you have to do is just close it. You can close it. It'll keep on recording. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. Thanks.
So now I come out. Now I am in the slide 4. So here, what we have done from the infrastructure standpoint, our objective is to meet the requirements of the customer to ensure that we look very flexible for the customer to come up with the different types of options to make sure that we are meeting the customer IT objectives. Okay. So what we have done is we have come up with 3 options. Option 1 is private. Okay. Option 2 is dedicated. Option 3 is public. Right. Private means we will install the infrastructure. We will install the infrastructure in customer data center and install the application and manage the infrastructure in customer data center. That is called private. It is on premise. One second, guys. Sorry guys. And the second option is dedicated. Dedicated means customer might say that I don't want to keep this application in my data center. I would like to keep this application in your data center, but I want a dedicated environment because I have a security and compliance requirement. Okay. In that case, we install the dedicated instance in our data center for customer and manage it for customer. That is second option.
So when you say we install, so when you say on the private, for example, that we install the infrastructure and application on premise, but S4HANA is a cloud-based solution. So what are we installing on premise?
No, S4HANA is not predominantly a cloud-based solution. It is an instance. It's an application instance. You can install anywhere. You can install in customer data center. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I assumed it was cloud-based. So S4HANA is not necessarily cloud-based. It can be run in a private network. It doesn't have to be on the cloud. Okay, got it.
Yes, correct. You are correct.
Okay.
So when you install it in our data center, then complete infrastructure as a service stack is going to be dedicated for customer in the dedicated model. And then we are going to install the application on top of it for that specific customer, and we will be managing for them. That is dedicated. And then comes the public. Public means we will install the S4HANA in the public cloud. Let's say Amazon, or let us say Azure, or let us say Oracle, Google. We install in these three particular cloud systems. Any of these cloud systems, and then we will manage that entire cloud for them, entire cloud ecosystem for them, and you know, that is the third option, which is public, which we call.
Do we have a shared? Do we also have a shared model in our own data center where we can install in our own data center and have a shared model?
Yes, we're developing that also.
Is developing, or is it already part of the public, what you consider public?
It's already part of it. It's already there.
Okay, great.
It's already there. But you know, I don't want to confuse the many options right now. I want you people to ask questions, then I'll clarify some of things.
Okay.
So yeah. So these are the three options what we are talking to customer: that private, dedicated, and public. These three options, customer can pick up any of the options and ask us to deploy for them. We will deploy it for them with no upfront cost, with flexible models, predictable monthly fee. That means per month this much is the money they have to pay. And for S4HANA, there is also something called scale out and scale up option, which I will be talking a little bit later, but just take this as a granted for now. So we'll also deploy scale out, scale up model for them, and we'll provide them with the industry leading SLAs. And also we'll provide automation to ensure that provisioning is done, automation with a reduced time period. Okay, these are the different objectives around the infrastructure service for any of the customer, which we'll be deploying in these three models. So what I'm trying to say here is that we are bringing the infrastructure as a service model to your own data center, deploying in your own data center, and we can manage it for you. Okay, this private.
Okay.
We'll deploy
May I ask a question on this slide here?
Yeah.
Two things. One is, can you elaborate a little bit more when you talk about no upfront cost? I mean, we got to implement these. What do you mean by no upfront cost? And then also on what are the things that we're doing to automate? The last bullet there, will reduce provisioning time, and do we have any metrics on that?
Yes. So I will go through it in the later stages, but right now I will explain it short.
No, that's fine. If you have other slides on, that's okay. I'll wait till those slides.
No problem. But it is important that I will also clarify here itself. No upfront cost means they don't have to buy any hardware. We are going to buy the complete hardware and we'll make it a OpEx cost for them. Okay. There will not be any hardware cost, and there is not going to be any installation cost also. We will amortize that into monthly cost. Okay, that is no upfront cost. Reduce the provision time. That means we are going to also give them the automation of along with this infrastructure service, which we are going to deploy in their data center. And with this reduced provisioning time, they can deploy the S4HANA within 1 hour time. Okay, we'll commit that on the SOW. All right. So this is and what is the automation software we are going to use? The OpenStack automation software.
So versus the 1 hour versus what does it generally take if they go with anyone else? What does it generally take without the automation?
It is same time to take. It depends upon the size of it predominantly depends upon the size of the database. If your size of the database is set for 32 GB, it might take 45 minutes. If your size of the database set for 64 GB, it will take 1 hour. If your size of the database is more than that, it will take more time. But it varies from one time to the time, which we can talk about that metrics. I think you'll take this question from you, and we'll project those timelines also.
Right. But do we have any metrics? Do we have any metrics that will tell us, but through our automation, you're able to reduce your provisioning time by 10% or 20% or whatever it may be? Do we have any metrics like that, or because you said the same time, so whether you use automation or not, it's the same amount of time to provision?
So, see, in today's context, most of the time, Rafael, many of the companies will go with the automated deployments only for this kind of software. Okay, traditional deployments is something which is not taken in the futuristic deployment models. That is taken for sure, automation.
So in other words, it's not something that's a differentiator, you're saying, it's just something that we do it as well. Me too kind of
we do
a thing.
as well. We do kind of a thing, all right?
Got it, okay.
So then in all this, what is the key to this solution is this, in all the flexible models we are deploying for the customer, right? We are deploying, let us say, we are deploying on-prem, we deploy off-prem, we deploy private, we deploy dedicated, we deploy public. We are going to deploy infrastructure as a service for the customer, and everything will be, OpEx models, right? So that is the flexible models we are bringing to the table for the customer to make sure that we meet the customer objectives, customer infrastructure objectives. We don't say that you just do the cloud. We don't say that you just do it in my data center. We don't say that we'll only do it in your data center. We are coming up with a different flexible models. So apart from this flexible models, customer might say, one of the customer, I want a hybrid model. I want a dedicated plus public. For production, I want a dedicated, and for backup, I want public. Okay. Some other customers say that I want private and dedicated. Some other customers say that I want private to public. Those hybrid models also we can design for a customer. Okay. Now comes, whenever you deploy the infrastructure as a service for a customer, every customer, SAP itself says that you have to go with the two types of deployment models. Okay. One, they call it the appliance, and second one, they call it TDI. TDI means tailored data center infrastructure. All right. So when they call these two types of deployments from the infrastructure as a service standpoint, right, customer can pick and choose if they would like to go for appliance or they would like to go for a TDI model. Okay, TDI means different subsystems we integrate. That means we integrate storage, network, and switching. Okay, all these subsystems are made by different companies. Okay, EMC. Second one is storage, EMC and Hitachi. Switching, Cisco and Huawei. Compute, it can be Lenovo, Dell, Huawei, IBM. So many different types of computes. Okay. So all these computes are certified by SAP for S4HANA. So you need to only use those subsystems which are certified, right, for TDI deployments. And for appliance, you have a single appliance, everything is integrated, you can deploy S4HANA on top of it in three models again. Okay, private, dedicated, public, you cannot deploy anyway appliance. Right? Public is public cloud. So if customer picks up the appliance, we will deploy the appliance model also. So there are two types of models which we can deploy for a customer. Three options: private, dedicated, and public. All right. Rafael, you have any questions on this? It is very important to catch this point. All right. After installing this infrastructure service, then we install the S4HANA on top of this infrastructure service, and that layer will be taken care by our SAP team or by the SAP deployment external partner or customer by itself, right? So there, maybe our SAP team might come up with stating that I will provide this as a SaaS model, software service model. You don't worry about licenses, we'll buy licenses and you pay me OPEX. Okay, they might cut that kind of a deal also. So we are keeping that as a SaaS model also, right? We'll go to another slide. So here I have explained in detail that what are these different models we have worked out for customer. What is private means? Private means HANA hosted in customer data center. That is private. Okay. Dedicated. Dedicated means HANA hosted in TechM data center. Public. HANA hosted in public clouds. Okay. And then there are two types of deployments in private, dedicated, and public. That is appliance or TDI. Okay. Appliance means everything is integrated into single box and we deploy for the customer. TDI is different subsystems. Both of them have advantages, pros and cons, which I will be talking in next slide. But this is what is the framework when it comes to S4HANA deployment. Appliance versus TDI. What are the differences between appliance and TDI? Okay. In appliances, you have everything integrated into a single box, right? Storage, network, switching, and virtualization is integrated to a single box. And growth may be challenging here. Whenever you look at scale out and scale up growth, you have some constraints on the appliance-based deployment model. When it comes to the TDA model, the growth will be more flexible. You can scale out easily, you can scale up easily on the TDA model. And the advantage of the TDA model is that in customer data center, if they pick up the dedicated, if they already have a storage, if they already have the network, we can just buy the compute for them and integrate it, and we can deploy this for HANA. So they don't have to spend too much money on that TDI, right? So that is the advantage of TDI. Right. Any questions?
Yeah, I do. I have a few questions. So on the appliance where everything is under one integrated, appliance, if you will, does that apply to hyper-converged solutions like Nutanix and others? Would those be applicable here?
No, Nutanix is not in play because Nutanix solution is not certified by S4HANA application.
But do we have any other ones? Do you have any others that hyper-converge like that?
Hitachi.
Okay. Okay. What about, are there any software defined?
See, what happens is hyperconvergence is more popular when you have a DevOps kind of a deployment. Okay. So that you are integrating your applications into the hyperconvergence and you're deploying it as a ACI. Okay. But when it comes to the S4HANA, these are applications, ERP applications are not DevOps kind of applications. So their deployment models are completely different. So they don't go by hyperconvergence kind of technologies because their deployment models are completely different in the perspective of software operational standpoint. Okay, so you don't have to think of those hyperconvergence models. So what S4HANA has done is they've certified some of the companies who has made the appliances, right? So when you look at this appliance, predominantly you should not think that the appliance is made in a hyper-converged model. Okay, it is made that it is integrated into a single model, and then you deploy it in customer data center, and it gives a different kind of performance metrics from the compute, storage, and network standpoint. Hyper-convergence is what? Hyper-convergence, you deploy the different pieces of VMs fast. Okay, so they're not worried about that part of it. So your thinking process should go towards that. That's general DevOps model. All right.
Okay.
What is that your thinking process has to go here is that always it is a memory utilized application. So complete database, whenever you install S4HANA on a compute, on a appliance or a TDI, the appliance is measured based on how much memory it has. Okay, because complete application processing is happening in memory. So complete database goes and sits in memory, and complete transactions will happen there. Okay, and even in the TDI also same thing. But when it comes to traditional softwares, Oracle ERP or other ERPs, complete database does not sit in the memory. Only part of it sits in the memory. Okay, part of it is in storage. But when it comes to the S4HANA, complete database goes and sits in the memory. Why? Why did they do that? Okay, because of the reason that they want to have they want to make the database highly transactional and responsive to the transaction. Okay, this kind of design used to happen in the trading platforms, right? They keep complete database in the memory. Okay, they do the in-memory processing because they wanted to make it a streaming technology. They want to stream the data. Okay, so that kind of a technology they got here. So you can easily stream dashboards. You can easily stream the data from this for HANA onto your laptops, mobile phones, iPads, Internet of Things, and so on and so forth. So it is very responsive and very fast for the next generation computing processes. Okay, so for that reason, whenever you look at the compute models and design models of infrastructure service, most of the time you will see high memory in S4HANA deployment models. Okay, whether it is appliance or PDI, and this can be deployed in dedicated, private, and public. Okay.
Have they looked, since it's high memory, have they looked into things like software-defined memories? Is that something is that right here?
They did not get into that. There's no software-defined memory.
Well, Intel is working. But isn't Intel working with NVM? And I mean, people are dabbling on it. So just like they're doing with software-defined networks and other areas, they're dabbling in that realm, I thought.
Maybe. So the only thing with SAP is that SAP controls a lot of things whenever it comes to their application because it's a German company. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they control. They are not one of those like Microsoft, or they are not one of those like Oracles. Say that I will just give this application, you use whatever you want. Okay, from the hardware standpoint. When it comes to SAP controls this OEMs in the marketplace and say that I certified only these companies, I certified only this way of designing the environment, and you please go and do this. All right. If you don't do this, if you don't deploy the way I want you to deploy, okay, if you don't use the subsystems of what I certified, okay, you are not, whenever the application goes for a problem, if you call me, I'm not going to support you. That's it. So that kind of a controlling they will do get the performance of their application. So they are successful highly, number one. Number two, tomorrow Intel might come up with a software-defined memory. Yes, of course, that is good thing. SAP has to certify. If SAP certifies, we can deploy. If we deploy, SAP does not certify, they will not support when there is a problem.
Understood. Okay.
So we have a good play now. We have IMS has a good play in this, right? We go to next slide. In the next slide, if you look from right, you please come from the left-hand side to right-hand side in the selection process for a customer. I have been the complete. There is science in this particular slide which you need to read through, right? You please come from the left side to right side and make a choice for a customer. Okay. One of the customer first selection, he might say that I would like to go with a TDI model. Okay. He will say, okay, first selection is he will select a TDI model. Second, he will say that I want to go dedicated, private or public. So he will select private. Okay. TDI, private. Okay. Third, he will say that I want complete stack managed by you or only up to operating system managed by you. Okay. If they say that I want complete stack managed by you up to application plus DB, then we call it as a highly managed in a private model. Customer says I want only managed services up to operating systems. So we say that the managed services in a private model. Okay, that is solution number one. I'm just taking one example. I'll take second example. Customer say that I want TDI. Okay, public. That means TDI is nothing but a public. Public clouds are all based on TDI model. Okay, take it for as a thumb rule. And customer says that I want highly managed. So it becomes a TDI, public, highly managed for customer. Third example, customer will take the appliance, I want private, I want managed. Okay. Then it becomes appliance, private, that is we are installing in their data center, and we manage up to operating system only. Right? It becomes appliance, private, and managed. Okay. This is how you need to drive the customer for the selection from left to right. Once they move from left to right, they are selecting what option they want based on their company stand today and their transformational objectives today, and they will select that option, and they will say that please this option we deploy for them. Okay, all these options, whatever option we deploy, these options are agile, reliable, visible, scalable, secure, and efficient. Those are the metrics anyway we are going to deploy, design, when the architecting we are going to consider these metrics to ensure that we deploy those metrics in this particular architecture. Okay, move to the next slide.
Can it be TDI public managed, or when it goes to public, it's always highly managed?
When it goes public, it's nothing but a TDI.
I know, but can it be public and managed as well, or does it have to be highly managed in the public?
Managed as well.
It can be both. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
Most of the time, yeah, managed, yeah, managed as well. So, because we might be holding the public platform for them. We might be holding that public platform for the customer, and it becomes managed. Because we will be managing the storage of the storage environment on the public. We might be managing the operating system on the public. We will be managing the backup on the public. We will be managing the network on the public. Because in today's context, you can design network also on the public, right? And all those components will be managing on the public, right?
Okay.
So now I will go to next slide. SAP HANA data protection. Okay, customer might say that guys, I don't want to go with the Tech Mahindra on all these options because I already have it with me, which I have done it in my data center on my environment. But you please do the data protection for me. Our customer might say that you please pick up the data protection for me, because data protection always has a different angle to it, right? When it comes to the data protection, every company go in any of the models what I designed for you, data protection design brings in different angle for any of the customer based on their industry. Okay, if it is a healthcare industry, the data protection is completely different. If it is a financial industry, the data protection is completely different. If it is a manufacturing industry, the data protection is completely different. What is that difference on data protection? Number one is only two differences from the sales standpoint. Okay. Simplest of the simple, don't make it complicated. Okay, only two differences. One is how quickly you are taking the backup of that particular database. Sorry, three differences. Second is what is the retention period of the data. Third is how many types of backups you are taking. Three things you have to consider when you are taking the data backup. Okay. Number one is how many types of backups you are taking. That means you take the on-site backup. That means you take backup and keep it in the same data center. Even the cloud also, in the same data center, you keep the backup. Okay. Off-site backup. That means you keep it in the data center and you keep it in secondary data center also. This is applicable for private, public, and dedicated models. All models. Okay. You keep it in the inside the data center and you keep it in the off-site data center. That is second variance of the backup. Third variance is you do a media level backup. That means in governments, what happens, this happens mostly in the governments and defense, that you take the backup in the data center, you take backup in the offsite data center. From offsite data center, again you take the backup onto a different media, onto the tape and into the another location. Okay, That is media reliability comes into picture. If one media fails, you have another media also in place. If the hard disk fails, for example, you take a AVMAR backup in on-site, off-site you have AVMAR, then if these two media fail for some reason, you have a third backup on a tape. Okay, this is the types of backups what we take. There comes a retention period. Sometimes you take the retention period 1 month, 5 years, 10 years. If it is a HIPAA compliance, it might go up to 10 years. If it is a SOX compliance, retention might go up to 5 years. Okay, that is the second thing what you do. So one is the diversity of the backup. Second one is retention period of the backup. Third one is how quickly you are taking the backup. Okay, what is the type of the backup you are using to take it very quickly. Okay, some backups will take whole night. Some backups can happen within 1 hour. Some backups can happen 6 hours. Okay, so if you take a snapshot technology, so these are different technologies I'm talking about here. Okay, when it comes to the backup, this is all spoken about. If it is snapshots, it happens very quickly, very fast. Replication means if it is on-site and off-site, you replicate the backup and it happens all the time, right? Archiving, business continuity, disaster recovery, and availability. We have given some kind of different types of data protection, but broadly, this is the backup. Data protection backup, what I spoke about. Second is disaster recovery. That also comes into data protection. Some customers may say that every customer will have definitely a disaster recovery. Some customers will say that I will have a dedicated and dedicated. Or some customers will say that I will have a dedicated private. Some customers might say that I want private and public backup. Disaster recovery. So we design that also for the customer. So these are two things which you need to talk about to the customer when it comes to the ERP systems. One is data protection. One is disaster recovery design. Second one is the backup design. In disaster recovery design, you can have private, dedicated, private, public. Okay, and in the backup design, you can have 3 variances. One is, variance number 1 is that on-site, off-site, and off-site. Variance number 2 is on-site, off-site. Variance number 3 is only on-site backup. Okay, that is second. Do you have any questions, Rafael, on this one?
No, not at all. I mean, you're just talking about the hierarchical storage, planning that exists. Yeah, understood.
Okay, understood. Okay, go to the next slide. So in SAP HANA backup options, you can have different types of backups. You can take, native HANA backups. That is, HANA itself provides that software, and you can take the backup. And this is high-speed backup. Means it happens very fast. Second one is you can use the third-party softwares like Hitachi Data, Veritas, Storage Manager, and all that. Those are also high-speed, but not as high-speed as native backup. And third thing is you can also take a command line backup. Sometimes people will take the command line backup also for some reasons. Okay, you have the different options here. Customer can pick up, or otherwise we deploy what actually we think is the best is the our backup for the customer by default. Okay. One thing what you have to understand here, Rafael, is that complete memory processing is complete database is happening in the memory. Okay, it also writes the software to the storage. Okay, that's too technical. I don't want you to get confused, but I will talk that later. But basically, once it writes to the storage, then we take the backup. When the database is in the memory, we don't take backup of the memory. Normally, we don't take the backup of the memory. Normally, we take backup of the storage. So there is a science there which I don't want you to get so deep, and it's not required for you. But these are the options for backup. Okay, I move to another slide. So we are kind of designing. Normally, the metric of SAP for HANA is mostly to do with the memory. That's what I told you that it's a memory intensive software. And in the memory intensive software, 64 GB or 128, 384 or 512 GB, when it comes to the memory intensive software, in the memory intensive software, what will happen in the memory intensive software is that we need to design the compute, storage, and everything in the context of memory. How much memory for a customer is required? If customer says that my database is 64 GB, then we have to design the complete infrastructure based on the 64 GB. So what we are trying to do here is that for 60, our metric of price to the customer, we are trying to design per GB memory for the customer. So that's what this talks about. Okay. There is a little bit of maturity has to come into this slide. I'm going to bring that maturity, but just keep this that way for this slide. Okay. Then actually in S4HANA, there are two types of deployments happens in S4HANA. I'll quickly touch base on this one. One is called scale up and other one is called scale out. Scale up means the database grows vertically. If the database grows vertically, we have to keep on adding the memory and keep on adding the compute to the same system. As simple as this. Scale out means we have to keep on deploying the compute side by side because the databases are separated out. Okay, database 1, database 2, database 3, database 4. That is called scale out. In scale up, database 1 itself is going to 64, 48 to 128 to 256 GB. Scale out means 34 GB, 34 GB, 34 GB, 34 separate databases are going. Okay, that's called scale out. So these are the two models what S4HANA supports. One is scale out for a customer, scale up for a customer. That is designed by application team. You don't have to worry about. From the infrastructure standpoint, we can support scale out and scale up based on their requirements. So this is one of the questions we ask when we design the system for a customer, whether he's going with scale out or scale up. If it goes with scale up, we design the scale up system. If they go with the scale out, we design the scale up system for all the models, private, public, and dedicated. Okay? This is scale up. Some scenarios I have given here for scale out and scale up. All right? Okay. And this is the partnership we have done. We can deploy S4HANA on IBM systems. We can deploy S4HANA on Azure, VMware, Huawei, Hitachi, SUSE, Amazon, and Red Hat. Okay. Another point you need to remember, Mr. Rafael, that S4HANA supports only 2 operating systems in the market, SUSE and Red Hat. They don't support Windows and all that. Okay. Only these 2 operating systems are supported. We have to install S4HANA only on this operating system.
So what if they have something that's currently on none of these, and we have to migrate them, not just install S4HANA, but also have to migrate from, make sure that something that was working before in a new operating system works on the SUSE or Red Hat? I mean, do we have to do any kind of a validation, certification type of testing also?
Yeah.
How would that work?
You only have to go with the SUSE and Red Hat, no other choice.
I understand, but let's say that they're currently on a Windows platform or on an AIX platform, something else, right? S400. Yeah. So, and they want to go to this. What else do we have to consider? What are the other considerations you got to take into place?
Currently, if they have on the AIX, or if they have current systems are called SAP ECC systems. Okay, it's called SAP ECC. If ECC system is deployed on AIX, might be deployed on any platform, you need to do the platform migration to SUSE and Red Hat. No choice. Mm-hmm. Okay. No questions asked by us to SAP S4HANA. They don't answer anything. They say that you please do a greenfield deployment S4HANA, migrate complete application from SAP ECC to S4HANA.
All right, so there's no such thing as platform migration or data dumping that has to occur. No, it becomes a greenfield implementation for them. If they're on a separate platform, it becomes in essence a greenfield implementation. Correct.
You are correct. Okay. Absolutely there. Yeah. Because these guys are change the complete product. They are also might have some problems because some of the customers are irritated because of the way they're doing, but they're doing for a reason. Without re-architecting the platform, they cannot meet all these digital objectives. And the digital objectives of any IT requires the platform to be in a different way altogether. It should have in-memory processing. It should have large database. It should have different types of interfaces to the different type of compute systems. Right? not only to the, it should also have artificial intelligence in it. It should have automation in it. Okay, it should have different the market fluctuations. You should respond to them very fast. So actually, that's the reason why they have re-architected the complete platform. They're asking all the companies to migrate. So a lot of companies are struggling today, not only from the perspective of migrating the product, also from the perspective of skill sets, because their companies, they have 50 years old person who is still managing SAP system, but SAP for HANA is completely different for him. He has to go through a complete training process. So that's going on in the marketplace, and this is what is happening, and people are starting considering, and there's a good amount of opportunities. Okay. Any other questions?
What about historical data that they have? I mean, they're using SAP, been using it for 10 years. They have data there that they need to be able to have access to. They're going to a brand new platform. You're doing greenfield, but don't you have to transfer that data in somehow?
Yes, that modeling, that maturity levels are coming into play. Those questions are asked back to the SAP, and they're answering it right now. They might come up with some kind of a transformational model, transition model as we go forward, but right now they say that you need to still keep that SAP system in a hot standby model. Okay, for example, you have a QAD systems in TRW today. So it's an old ERP. They're still keeping QAD systems like that only. They migrated to SAP system for new generation applications, right? But for old generation applications where they have to actually keep the data for recovery process, where they have to still keep it for 10 years, next 10 years because of the compliance requirements, they're still keeping the QAD system in the warm model. It's called warm. They keep it warm, and whenever they want, they will recover it from there. So those kind of things have been taken care by, those kind of things have happened in the past. So looking at the historical data of some of the ERPs in the market, like which were very much famous, like Bond systems, QAD systems, Mapix, LX, Infor, these are all applications the customers are still keeping their hardware in a standby model to record that process, and they will phase out after 5 years if they have a compliance requirement, after 10 years if they have a compliance requirement. But SAP has not come out and said that yet. To answer your question, which you have the right question, we'll send that question to them and get the answer for it. Okay.
Okay. And what if it's SAP to SAP? What if they have a traditional SAP implementation and they want to go to S4HANA? Is there some kind of a data migration tool that exists, or something of data migration needs to occur?
Not until today. As if yesterday, day before yesterday. That also, we are also keeping a watch on it. But if at all we get anything, if at all we actually get that information, then definitely we will get to you on that.
Okay.
But
I would think there would be one of the big concerns if I'm going to go to S4HANA. If I have to maintain this other system here, which costs me a lot of money, right? They're not cheap. The system costs me a lot of money. If I have to keep them hanging around for a while, because and second is, how can I access the data? Because my business can't stop and on Friday and start again on Saturday or Monday, whatever. I mean, my business has to keep on going as if nothing ever happened. So I don't know how you can just bring up a whole new system with no data on it whatsoever, no historical data, and say, okay, now start taking care of all the purchase items, purchase orders. I mean, it's got to have the purchase orders loaded in there, right? Yeah. And if it has hundreds.
Yeah, what you're saying is correct. There will be a element of migration tools they might give, which we are keeping a tab on it. Okay. At present, you need to go with a deep greenfield and start doing from the scratch, because why I'm saying is the debate from the platform or from the product to that, if at all you have to transform your particular company to digital, okay, if at all you have to do that, you still have to buy a platform from the other companies, right? Here I'm going to transition or transform your license, or I'm going to give you the discount for it. Okay. So digital platforms, whenever we look at a digital enterprise, definitely the digital enterprise, you need to, in order for you to enable the digital framework, you definitely have to buy the platforms, new platforms. big data platforms you have to buy. You need to buy, hyper-converged softwares. You have to buy hyper-converged hardwares. You need to buy several components to ensure that you get the digital platform for your company, right? Instead of spending that money there, they might also positioning themselves that you buy the S4HANA. Okay, this gives two objectives. One is it is going to serve all ERP applications. It is going to consolidate all your ERP applications, what you have today. Okay, and also giving you the best features of the digital platform. Okay, that might be their stand. That might be their TCO calculations, which they will be doing from that perspective. Which I'm not too worried about that because I am coming from the infrastructure standpoint. But it's a worthy question which you are keeping, and I also thought of it. And this is the answer which I have read from some of the articles. But I carry these questions. I have carried these questions with me. Whenever I get the answers, I will personally send the answers to you on these two questions. Okay?
I mean, it's one thing, Vikram, again, not an expert in SAP, but if there's one thing, if a customer has already made a decision to move to S4HANA and now we're going in there and we're trying to propose different offerings that we have on that. That's one thing. They already made a decision. They're going. They've got the budgets. They figured it all out, right? It's something else if we're trying to get someone that is on maybe traditional SAP or something else to get them to move to S4HANA. We've got to have that return on investment there. And if they're currently paying 10+ million, whatever it may be, a year to maintain their current environment, we say, yeah, no, you still maintain that environment, and I'm going to build you a new one, but that one's going to be cheaper long run because it's SaaS model and whatnot. But you're still paying for that to maintain that old one. I mean, the break-even point, if there is such a thing, it becomes longer. Further out in the distance.
They might have.
Hi, Vikram, you're breaking up. I cannot hear you now.
How is it now? How is it?
Okay, you're fine. You were just breaking up. You were intermittent for a little bit.
Yeah. How is it now?
You're fine.
Okay. That is the debate at a software layer, software to software licenses comparison, software skill set. For the infrastructure skill set, I don't think there is going to be a difference for a customer, but from the software layer perspective, from the transition management of the software, so on and so forth, the customer might have a option stating that my delta cost is going up in the company because I have to run both the ERP applications in parallel. For that, SAP might have done the TCO calculations for the customers from all the angles, stating that why you have to deploy this, what is the TCO benefits you are going to get, and how you are going to look forward. So that information, I think, we have to capture that information and get back to you. I will get that from the SAP team and send it to you. Okay?
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Yeah.
Understood.
So so you have any further questions, Raphael?
No, I think this is a great session. I know we went a little longer in time here, but I appreciate you spending the time and helping me understand how to even position this. So I appreciate it. Thank you, Vikram.
Yeah. So I will, Mahad, note down these questions from Raphael. We have to get those answers. Okay. Thank you very much, Raphael. Take care.
Thank you, Vikram. Thank you, Mahad. Bye-bye.
Bye.